Hey there, Andy Whitehead here. So today I want to talk to you about you've come too far. You've come too far. I want to talk to you about Amazon. And right now there's things going on in your environment in the world which are a first for you, first for me, first for most people, which means there's new input going in, there's new input going into our system, and that means there's new output coming out. So if we don't take control of the input into or interpreting the input, what we output, we won't control. So right now in recruitment, there's been all sorts of metrics thrown around numbers and roles and all sorts of supposed facts. And all cards on the table, we all know things don't look so hot in as an industry. But what I'm concerned about is you as an individual entrepreneur and business owner and what you control. So you've come this far as a business owner. You've come this far. Now, I don't know how far that is for you. It might be 10 weeks, it might be 10 years. I don't know. But you've come this far. So first thing is this, don't give up. Don't give up. Now, it's easy saying that, don't give up, because the logic might say, let's retract right now. Let's stop right now until this blows over. And that could be the logic, or it could be the fear. Now, again, it could be the logic, or it could be the fear. Now, if that's a mass sentiment, then you should be doing the opposite, virtually always. But one thing sprung to mind yesterday, and I was thinking about this with the recruitment search industry, is the Amazon Flywheel, which I'm sure you've heard, seen, you know about. But it's got this cycle. So Amazon didn't make any money until roughly 25, 26 years into business. Didn't make any money until 25, 26 years into business, which is extraordinary. So they had a long-term vision. And as I always say to my members, if you don't win the long game, you don't win the game. You want immediate results, but you want to win the long game. So with Amazon, they've got this process whereby they've got a selection online of goods, a selection online of goods. And when that started off, it was very small. It's very small. Now, as that's grown, it gives the customer more options, which means they get more customers coming, which means they get more sellers coming to their platform. And that goes in a cyclical, over and over again process. And because that happens, they get economies of scale, which means they can lower the costs and they can lower the prices. So with that model in shape, it's a model that every business should really understand. And in recruitment, we've got our equivalent flywheel in recruitment. And this flywheel looks like this. It looks like this. We've got a recruitment search business. Now, I don't know what business you're in. I don't know what size it is. But we've got our own recruitment. Change that pen. We've got our own recruitment search flywheel. We've got a positive version and we've got a negative version. So your business breaks down to three components. One is you've got leads coming in. Leads I always break down as client leads and candidate leads. So client and candidate leads coming in. That's step one. Then step two, we have a conversion process. Conversion process, again for clients, conversion process for candidates. Without getting into the automation, that stuff, let's talk business principles right now. We've got a conversion process. Then number three, we've got a delivery process, i.e. we place the candidate. That's what goes on in recruitment. That's the flywheel in recruitment. Now, what happens to a business that's strategic and they look at to improve this cycle over and over again? What happens is this. With their leads, if they've got a process whereby they increase their leads by, say, 100% per, let's be prudent, 100% per year, what happens is, obviously, 100% growth in leads. If they got a process whereby right now in their talent pool they've got 2,000 out of 30,000 candidates, but say end of the year they got 15,000, that's a 7x growth. But let's say that they've got merely 100% growth in their candidate pool. Okay, could be 2 weeks, could be 2 years, doesn't matter. What happens there is, because they got more leads and they got a big candidate pool, both of those will increase conversion. Why will conversion increase? Well, Mr. Client, I've sent you across 6 CVs. These candidates are outstanding. What you've really done is sent across the first 6 CVs you've got from your database or from a LinkedIn strategy or from a job board, whatever it might be. But let's say that there's 100,000 candidates in your niche and you've got 95,000 in your database and you've sent across the top 6. You've sent the top 6 from the top 95% of that niche. So we want to be thinking about always improving the flywheel so our database gets bigger, our conversion gets bigger, our leads get bigger. So if we focus on building up our principles of getting more leads in, building up our talent pool, our conversion will actually increase. And we actually use these metrics as something we call a client attainment system too. So it's pretty much the norm if you've got a very good CAS to become fully retained. Because then you can demonstrate to the client, in the market there are 37,000 candidates, we've got 35,000 in our database. We've got this automated process that brings in a 94.2% response rate within 72 hours. So that happens not on the first iteration, it's iterative, it's a flywheel. So if we think about this, as we go through a cycle, we leads conversion, next cycle we add more leads to our actual pipeline, we add more candidates to our talent pool, we're going to increase conversion, which means we get more roles, which means we deliver more candidates. So then what happens is we go through a cycle again. Then what happens? Now we start to get repeat business, which is an often missed out project in recruitment. As we go through this flywheel, what happens is next time, let's say that we've now gone from 1,000 candidates in our niche, in our database, to 2,000. Let's say next cycle we want to add it 100%. We've now got 4,000. Let's say that our leads, we've gone through a cycle again. We've learned from that cycle. We've got more authority from that cycle. We've got more leads coming in, which means we've got more conversion opportunities. We're actually going to convert more because we've got better candidate assets to share with them, which means we get more roles and we deliver more. Now, if you throw in components of, let's say, an authority strategy. So let's say the first time we run an authority strategy, whether it be podcasts or webinars, etc. If you run that cycle for the first time, that's as bad as it's going to get. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, 10 times, every single month, as in one a month. What's it going to look like? You build up this flywheel again. Because your authority, you get increased conversion opportunities, but also your conversion ratio goes up because you've got authority. So say you're doing a monthly Maven webinar and then you stop it because where we are, you stop the flywheel. So if we've got increased authority, we convert more, we get more roles, we deliver more, we've got more leads. It goes on and on. This flywheel exists. This is the thing. And virtually every 7-figure business that I've been fortunate to be part of building, as in members, what these members have done, have got the understanding of, it's not about adding in loads of new things. It's about optimizing, which means we go through this process next time and see if we can add 20% to it. Let's add 50% to it. Let's add 10% to it. So let's increase our leads by 50%. Let's improve our conversion by 50%. Let's actually make sure that we deliver and the candidate actually stays on site, get through his guarantee period by 50%. There's the 3 actions there. So with this in mind, as you do this, you create this self-fulfilling prophecy. It takes control of itself. It's, in the UK at least, there was a ride in the park when I was a kid, it's going back years now, where it was like a cylinder and you span it and you span it and you span it, and then you jump on it and then your foot will go round and round. In the first 3-4 iterations, it was getting going. Then a few more people will jump on, and they do the same. And before you know it, you're holding on for dear life. It's the best ride ever. It's the same principle here. So we're in this position right now where I see a lot of businesses going, shit, I've lost these roles. Shit, this has happened. The industry's fucked. The world's going to end. Let me ask you one question. Do you want to be in business in 2 years' time? Yes, of course I do. Stupid question, Andy. Great. Okay. So with that in mind, if your business was a breathing entity lying on a bed, what do you think it would say to you in terms of what your action and behavior you are taking right now? Do you think it would say to you, right, just leave me for 4, 5, 6 months. Take your foot off the gas. Give me less oxygen. I'll be fine. I'll come back stronger. Of course it wouldn't. But because we're in our own little world and we're taking this input, which is a new input. The world and the economy right now is new for everybody. We're taking this input, we're interpreting it mostly as a sole, single individual, and we're creating an output. And that output tells us, because by nature, humans want positivity. They don't want to lose. They don't want to lose. If you had $10,000 in front of you now, if I told you could win $10,000, would you do more in terms of protecting that $10,000 and saying you're not having it than you would go out doing something to get it? You're going to protect it more. And that's what we're doing with our business. But it destroys what's in front of you, because I'm not saying you go out and you be directionless. But what you've got now is this flywheel happening, and there's a negative flywheel. And this is what happens. We've got our positive flywheel. And for those who are going to embrace this, and myself included, this is an entire world. These are historic times. These are crazy times. I've never worked so hard literally in my life supporting members. I've never done the hours I've done in these last 16 weeks. I've felt absolutely drained, to be frank. The hours and created probably 20 new strategies, and it's absolutely knocked me sideways. But what I do know is this. I know that if I take this approach of, right, let's keep this cycle going, I know also that there'll be other individuals or people who are not going to embrace this mindset. And I also know that what happens now, there'll be a payoff now, but there'll be a payoff in X amount of time too. And in recruitment, this is what's going on. So the negative flywheel that I'm seeing happening is it scares me. I'm very open about the fact I lost everything over a decade ago through property. And I would never wish that on anybody. And I'm seeing people make decisions on emotion. Input coming in. I've lost all these roles. Yeah, I've got more authority. Yeah, I've done this, but I'm losing all these roles. I need to stop everything. It's like your business on that deathbed. You're slowly switching off the oxygen. We're giving oxygen later on. We're giving the oxygen in a year's time. And that business is just deflating and deflating and deflating. It's insidious, but we don't know. We don't know it. With me, with property, it was that one more boiler, that one more roof, that one more credit card to cover, etc. So it's scary, and I just want this to be really real, but also know that don't give up, because the negative flywheel looks like this. It looks like this. By the way, sorry for the noise, you can hear those trees out there. We've got a negative flywheel going on, which is this. So the input is the decision we make. Decision we make right now is going to be, there's no work, the industry's fucked, I need to save every penny I can, I need to buckle down, I need to survive. I need to hope. I need to ride it out, etc. Now, all of those things are completely logical things. They're logical, and I get it 100%, myself included. I get all of that. However, there's a phrase got from a guy called Tony Robbins. Action removes doubt. Action removes doubt. So this input, this decision we make to stop doing things. So we may keep doing a minimum, but we're actually not going in. We're not going in going, right. If someone said, right, in the next year, if you do this, I guarantee you, because I've got a time machine, if you do this, your business will 10x in 2 years. If you knew that, would you do it? Yes. Yes. But because we're in it, we don't know what's going to happen in the future. We just know we need to buckle down now. Whereas we also know in 2 years' time, we're going to read stories of businesses exiting for high 7 figures, 8 figures, because this is when they did it. And it'd be, oh shit, should have done it. So the input is the decision we make into our business. So our business on that bed has gone, right, the decision is you're going to slow things down. You're going to hustle, but you're not really going to be strategic about this. You're not really going to measure each 30 days. You're not really going to have a 3-pronged attack with 3 key strategies. You're going to optimize and improve again. You're going to get through it. Okay, so turn the oxygen back on in 6 months, if there's enough oxygen yet. That's what your business is saying. So with that input, what it means is, what we get is less action, obviously, or less directed action. And right now, because the stimuli is all negative, we're not being congruent with making rational business decisions. And right now, why is it that the guys who are, quote, successful are rubbing their hands saying, this is it, this is it? Because they've been through it and they know what's coming next. So we need to remove that emotion, which is difficult. When you run a business, you release a similar drug as a parent, or as a mother does rather, as a mother does with a child. We release a similar drug as an entrepreneur. It's crazy. But if we take the view of, right, I need to cut back doing this, I'm going to bed down. Whereas someone else in your niche is going, right, fuck this. For the next year, I'm going to be doing this every single week. For the next year, I'm going to run this every single week, this campaign. And for next year, I'm going to do this. Just 3 things every week for the next year. Who's going to win? Who's going to win? You've got directed action. And the first week that entrepreneur in recruitment runs those 3 strategies will be the worst metric they get. So it could be a webinar strategy. It could be a automated inbound campaign strategy. But the metric they get in week 1 will be the worst metric they get, probably. Might be 1 step backwards along the way. Week 52, there'll probably be minimum, probably 5x, if not 10x, better campaign results, then conversion, remember? Campaign, leads, then conversion. How do we convert in this environment? Then deliver. How do we deliver the right candidates in this environment? So there will be 7-figure businesses built on this time by them controlling the input. So back to our negative flywheel. So we've made a decision to our business on the bed. We're going to retract, which means with less action or less. We might feel like we're doing more action, but you're actually not doing more action. You're not doing more controlled action. But what it will mean as an output is we've got less leads. We've got less candidates. What it means is we'll have less conversion calls, as in opportunities to convert. And it also means we've got less quality candidates, which means we deliver less. We deliver less candidates, which then fulfills the decision of the industry's fucked. Which means we take even less action because we've got empirical evidence that it's fucked. And what will happen is we get less conversion opportunities, we deliver less, we're fucked. And then in the other corner is this guy who got lucky, this girl who got lucky. And what they've done is they've just purely controlled the input into their world, because we're all in the same world. We're all in the same economy. We're all with the same problems. Every single one of us has got the exact same problem. Some are going, right, if I ran 52 webinars in the next year, if I ran 13 automated NPC campaigns in the next year, if I then took control of my conversion calls down to about 15 metrics, how many did we invite to the conversion call, conversion with the client? How many did open the reminders? How many opened the SMS? How many attended the call? How many did we convert? All we got is three simple things there that we control. And the person who goes, right, in the next year, I'm going to do just 3 things. Then if I can learn how to take my conversion with that webinar from 10% to 50% in the next 6 months, that means I've got 5 times more leads. If I can learn how to convert 5 times better than I am now, that means I'm 25xing my business. I'll say that again. So if we can learn how to 5x the leads from a webinar strategy, then if we can learn how to 5x our conversion on those conversion calls, that's a 25x. So when we see businesses who 10x in 1 year, and it sounds like that's clearly bullshit. It's bullshit. It's because we're not thinking in that way. But I get it. Listen, I get it. This is the toughest time ever. I'm a dad. I've got responsibilities. I get it. But what I also know is I'm never going to give up. And what's happened with this entire thing in the last sort of 8-12 weeks is made me completely rethink, re-strategize, actually re-platform everything I do for my members. We've created a whole new well, we've not created it as in completed it, but we've started a whole new way of delivering whole new programs, which is not the purpose of this. But what I'm saying to you is this: innovation comes out of desperation. And what I'm seeing in the recruitment industry are people losing their heads. They're losing their heads. They're losing their heads. And it worries me because I lost everything over a decade ago. And I know the impact of a decision based on fear. And the thing is this: don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. We want to put positive things into our head. We want to be listening to Tony Robbins and all these good people. But the thing that will make sure that if your target is to survive this, is discipline. If your target is to scale from this, and I think more of you probably can do that than you actually realize, to scale through this, discipline is what you need. And discipline is understanding that your business is a flywheel. Amazon took 25 years to make a profit. Biggest company on the world, on the planet rather, but the richest person in the world, Jeff Bezos. So don't make decisions on an input of the media, of your friends, of other recruitment people, because your business is a living, breathing entity, and you might put it on a bed, in your eyes, to have a break. Your business right now needs to get out there and get to the gym. So with that said, don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up on your business, and know that this cycle is in everything we do. It's in everything we do. It's in our health. I'm gonna eat crap this weekend. Don't go to the gym on Monday, Tuesday. Feel shit. Wednesday, I'll have a drink. Thursday, I feel pretty shit. I'll start next week. You get in this cycle. Same principle now with your business. Break that pattern. Be careful what the input is. And I'm seeing so much of this across the world. The input is, the decision is, we're going to ride it out. You're not riding anything out. Unless you're in a fortunate position to have a rich parent or whatever your thing might be, you're not riding anything out. Because when this comes back, there'll be other people with authority 10 times more than yours. There'll be other people with candidate pools 10 times bigger than yours. There'll be other people who've now got 95% of the candidates in their database. There'll be other people who've now got 25 of the biggest speakers in the world through a Maven funnel. There'll be other people. Don't think that the solution is resting. It's going to be painful. Take it on the chin. Being a recruitment entrepreneur is the toughest thing in the world. If anyone told any of us how hard starting this business thing would be, would you have done it? It's bloody tough. But you're tougher than you think. You've had the balls to do this. How many people think about or say, I'm going to start a business, and they do fuck all with it? You've done it. Don't forget that. You've got the kahunas, male or female. You got it. So don't give up on your business. But know this consciously. If you make the decision to pause or pull back, that flywheel is going to slow down. It's going to become stagnant. And if you think it's going to start up just like a car, no. It's going to be the car that's 40 years old, stuck in the garage, and you start it up, and it's not starting up. It's going to be tougher. What worked a year ago won't work so well now, maybe. Inside my Inner Circle program, we've had a webinar appointment funnel, which has worked like gangbusters, getting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients, candidates on each webinar. But even that strategy is changing as we go back to work. We now need a new strategy. So we need to be alive and cognizant of what the input is. And the input is the economy. Who's hiring? How are they hiring? Who's the candidate? Do they want to move? Will they move? Don't think by being stagnant and resting, that's the answer. So with that said, you've come too far. Don't give up. And remember, your business is a breathing entity, and it's dependent on you. And the action you take may not be as effective on paper, as in what you're bringing in, as it was 6 months ago. But as much as I can guarantee you, in 6 months, in 6 years, you'll look back and say, thank fuck I didn't give up. Your business is a child. You wouldn't give up on your child. Don't think it's fucking putting your child in the bedroom for 6 months is the right thing to do. It's not. And the flip side is, those who actually do embrace this, the payoff is going to be enormous. So with that said, you come too far. Don't give up. See you on the other side.